Trước tiên xin giới thiệu, thi đấu ở góc đài màu xanh. Anh tập luyện tại Minbury. Đại diện cho Thái Lan, Pentor. Và giới thiệu đối thủ của anh, thi đấu ở góc đài màu đỏ. Anh tập luyện tại Assassin Gym và Tiger Muay Thái, sở hữu thành tích thi đấu với 8 trận thắng và 1 trận thua, đạt tỷ lệ chiến thắng 89%. Đại diện cho Vương quốc Anh, Otis Waghorn.
Referee Kritsada with the final instructions here in our featured fight of the night. One Friday fights. Looking for the next global superstar to join the roster of the world's greatest strikers. Otis Waghorn, Pentor. Both these guys believe they are destined to work their way up the ladder and achieve that $100,000 contract. There's that beautiful lead leg kick off the top, Brian. Just no switch, comes with zero setup, ultra fast feet coming from Waghorn as he catches and then lights him up on the inside with a nice boxing combination.
Great counters, that's exactly what he needs to do to shut down the kicking of Pentor. Pentor already getting busy with his lead leg off the back foot as a counter with the kick there again. Waghorn needs to make sure that Pentor does not establish that rhythm, shut down the hands, but rather Waghorn blocks and fires back with combinations immediately.
Yeah, Pentor needs to get going. He's starting off a little bit slower, and Waghorn is really turning things up. I like that inside leg kick that he threw and then shuffled back momentarily into southpaw to fire that push kick out. Just such an explosive fighter is Waghorn. Pentor has been competing recently in 5-round stadium fights, so it's hard to break out of that habit to go from the stadium's 5 rounds, slowly working your way up right into these 3-round global rule set fights where they're just so explosive right off the bat, Brian.
That's right, Mitch. A great place to build experience, but it is not the same as these 3 extremely fast-paced rounds. Oh, beautiful left hand there. Otis Waghorn, another right to the body. Doing some great body work here on Pentor early.
So good below the chin is Otis Waghorn. Ripping to the body with the left, coming right down the middle with the right. Such a speed advantage coming from Waghorn early on. Misses wildly with that big right hand as he changes stances momentarily. Good eyes from Pentor. 1 minute to go in the first round here. Pentor shuffling. Now he seems a little bit more energized as Waghorn sticks him with a jab off the shuffle. Pump fakes, a little bit overextended there with that right hand. Looking for that one-hitter quitter, Brian, trying to get Pentor out of there in the first.
And it may be, Mitch, that it's going to take Pentor a little bit of time to adjust to the unorthodox, this hybrid style of Waghorn. Waghorn doing a great job with the hands and attacking the body early. Needing to make sure, though, that he doesn't get too wild with his punches there. Another right hand to the body, answered by Pentor with that lead leg kick.
Pentor showing off good durability, at least in the first, wearing a lot of these shots well. Waghorn stomping to the midsection of Pentor. All he needs is one of those gigantic right hands. Looks like he's throwing softballs into the cheap seats here at Lumpini.
Yeah, big right hand. Once again, though, a little bit wild. It creates needlessly creates opportunities for his opponent, Pentor. We know that he can finish with those hands, but that was a big movement shot, Mitch.
First round comes to a close. Brian, rewind the tape. Talk us through that first round, because there's a lot going on there.
Some good action, definitely the highlights. These boxing combinations from Waghorn, particularly the shots downstairs, like that left hand here follows up with the right down the center, just piercing through the guard of Pentor. Here looking for the big looping right hand, getting a little bit wild maybe. Pentor, though, no doubt needing a round there to get used to the rhythm, the power, and explosiveness of Otis Waghorn. We will see if Pentor can adapt here and turn up the pressure here in the second round.
They are fighting for a possible $100,000 contract and an invitation to the biggest stage in the world. We were speaking to Waghorn earlier this week, and he spoke really well about how, like, in the Sua Kim fight, he didn't feel like Sua Kim beat him. He felt like he beat himself in that fight. He was making the wrong decisions. He was a little bit too rushed out there. Wants to be a little bit more composed, be a little bit calmer. And he's showing that here tonight. He's making good decisions. He does get a little trigger happy, though, with that big right hand of his. But he is, you know, showcasing better decision making. Let's see how Pentor adjusts here in this second round, a round where he typically starts to turn things up.
I think you're right, Mitch. Otis Waghorn looking very composed here at the beginning of the second. Pentor keeping the guard high, looking to counter with kicks off the back foot. Waghorn, though, not biting as much this round, taking his time calculated. Ooh, nice tricky switch into the low kick there.
Look at referee Chris saying you're not being active enough, just as Waghorn was starting to let go with some fancy feet. He's like, come on, ref, I'm trying out there.
You can see a bit of perhaps the Taekwondo background there, the tricky footwork to set up the low kick just moments ago. Waghorn continuing here to be calculated, composed. Beautiful timing on the counter there, kicking with his lead leg off his back foot.
I mean, especially with the lower body usage. I mean, we don't see a lot of the stance switches that we typically see in like sport Taekwondo, but you can see them inside Waghorn, and it's so hard to get a read when they're just constantly jumping back and forth, and he fires off of both sides so well. But Pentor's a very smart move from our fighter. He'll figure it out. He's already wearing a little bit of damage on the left side of his head right there from one of those Waghorn shots, but spinning, going a little bit low. Pentor says he's okay.
Moments ago, I was waiting for it to happen. Pentor moving into the clinch there momentarily, not going back to that position. Definitely seems that the clinching position will be a strong one for Pentor, but Waghorn using great evasive footwork there to take angles, land punches, not letting Pentor come forward to lock him up in that clinch.
Waghorn knows. Oh, beautiful shot. Flicking the leg up there, giving Waghorn a taste of his own medicine. He likes that inside leg kick, switch back to southpaw, then fires that push kick out. That's a tricky little combination for Waghorn, but Pentor, like we spoke about, he has that apex, right? He builds and builds and builds, and he won't slow down. He'll keep these weapons coming, and I expect to see an all-out Pentor in the third, and really try to match this ferocious pace that Waghorn's trying to put on him.
Pentor more and more, though, finding his distance, finding his rhythm, these body kicks, these low kicks, that snappy little head kick that he threw earlier in that round as well. Doing a great job with the lead leg. Pentor, I think, starting to find the rhythm at the end of that round just a little bit more, Mitch.
But it could be too little too late. He could need the knockout here in this third and final round, but talk us through the second, Brian.
Here we see spinning back kick there thrown by Otis Waghorn. Beautiful left hand over the top. But Pentor here driving, continuing to push. Nice low kick thrown by the fighter from the UK. Pentor, though, threw some good low kicks of his own, and at the very end of that round, turning up the pressure a little bit. But like you said, Mitch, here in this third, he's gonna really need to turn it up, make something big happen.
Pentor looking to extend his win streak to 7 fights, and Waghorn is looking for a huge name to attach to his resume here in the third and final round. Only the best of One Friday Fights will have a shot at one championship. Who will move up this highly competitive ladder? Oh, look at Waghorn, spinning back kick. Pentor getting into the clinch. This is where he likes to be. Likes to shut people down, but Waghorn had the angle on that one.
Pentor more and more finding a home for that lead leg kick, but he needs to keep it up. He can't spend a lot of time on the ropes. There, that lead leg landing again as Waghorn went for the right hand. Waghorn looking for a looping overhand right, pressing into boxing range. That is what Otis Waghorn needs to do, get into that boxing range, let those hands go. Pentor missing a right hand of his own, back into the clinch. But the referee is going to separate them. Nice left hook into the right hand from Otis Waghorn, but once again, Pentor landing that kick. Waghorn will throw some punches. Pentor will counter with that lead leg kick.
The crowd is showing their enthusiasm and getting behind these two athletes in our featured fight of the night. Trying to urge their countryman Pentor onto another big victory, but Waghorn is standing in his way, and he's beautifully creating those angles. His angle adjustments are so clean, Brian. His footwork is so good, but Pentor scored with a big right hand, and back inside the clinch they go.
Yeah. Big right hand there from Pentor. Otis Waghorn doing a great job taking the angles, creating opportunities. Pentor, though, threading the needle with the right hand there, continuing to score with the lead leg. They're just out of range, stifling the right hand. But Waghorn doing a great job pressing him into the ropes. Spinning.
Oh! Spinning elbow attempt by Waghorn, and Pentor with the timing catches and sits him down. Referee CHauI calls it off. Oh! Good golly, Miss Molly. Pentor with the come from behind. Knockout victory. Minor mistake from Otis Waghorn to allow the referee to count for so long, but he was up on his feet at around 9, Brian. And the referee said no mas.
Mitch, I think Pentor needed a little time to get warmed up, to get his head in the fight. But once he started finding that rhythm, he started to break away. Here, it's that left leg again. He is just a surgeon with the lead leg, taking away the right hand, and then here, finding the neck, kicking the neck of Otis Waghorn clean. Not that there was a ton of power on it either. It was timing, and it was precision, sitting Otis Waghorn down. Otis had been doing a great job with his angles and his punches. He went for the spinning technique, perhaps a bit overzealous, created the opening, and Pentor executed.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes and 3 seconds in the third round, your referee has called a stop to this contest. Your winner, by way of knockout,
Pentor with the unbelievable technique. Look at the sportsmanship between these two. Otis Waghorn in control so much of this fight. Looked so good, so sharp with his footwork and his hands. But it was the lead leg of Pentor in the end. Incredible.
Pentor, what a huge
Pentor,
knockout
một
victory.
chiến thắng knockout vô cùng hoành tráng. Tôi biết bạn đã trở về góc đài của mình vào cuối hiệp 2. Họ đã nói gì với bạn để truyền cảm hứng cho bạn bước ra và tung ra cú knockout uy lực đó?
เป็นการชนะน็อกเอาท์ในยกที่ 3 ที่สวยงามมากเลยครับอยากจะถามครับในตอนช่วงจังหวะพักของหลังยกที่ 2 เนี่ยเราคุยอะไรกับทีมของเราครับที่เราสามารถแสดงความดุดันออกมาได้มากขนาดนี้ยกที่ 3 หาจังหวะน็อกเอาท์ได้แบบนี้ครับ
ลูกพี่ผมบอกว่าให้แลกเลยครับออกอาวุธเต็มที่เลยยกนี้ผมก็บอกว่าลูกพี่ผมแลกเลยนะไฟนี้หลับก็หลับครับลูกพี่บอกว่ามีลูกเตะก้านคอเสริมด้วยครับครับ
Vâng, những người ở góc đài nói với tôi là hãy tung hết những gì mình có đi, vì đây là hiệp thứ 3 rồi. Họ cũng nói thêm là cứ nhắm vào phần cổ để hạ gục. Họ bảo bạn trong hiệp 3, hãy tung hết mọi thứ bạn có ngay lúc này. Bạn phải bước ra, đổi đòn và mạo hiểm tất cả, và sử dụng cả cú đá cao nữa. Và bạn đã mạo hiểm tất cả. Đó là một cú đá rất chính xác. Bạn đã tung ra cú đá cao bằng chân trái, left high kick, nó sớm hơn trong trận đấu. Bạn có biết nó sẽ phát huy tác dụng không? Bạn có biết cú knockout đó sẽ nhắm trúng mục tiêu không?
ครับผม
I didn't realize it to
Lúc đầu
begin
tôi không
with.
nhận
I
ra,
just tried keep
tôi chỉ cố
doing
gắng
the
tiếp
high
tục
kick
tung
until
ra
I
những cú
found
đá
that
cao,
opening, and
cho đến
the
khi
high
tôi
kick
tìm thấy
went
khoảng
to
hở
his neck.
và cú đá
Yeah,
cao
it was
đó
a
đã trúng vào
perfect
cổ anh
shot,
ta.
and I know, and I'm really
Đó là một
sorry
cú
to
đá hoàn
hear
hảo
about the
và tôi
passing
biết
of your
và tôi thực sự
grandmother,
rất tiếc
and
khi
I
nghe
know
tin về
that
sự
your
ra đi của bà
7th
bạn.
win was
Và tôi biết rằng
dedicated to
chiến thắng
your
thứ 7 của bạn
grandmother, so I'm
là
really
để dành tặng cho bà của bạn.
sorry to hear that,
Vì vậy tôi
but I
thực
am
sự rất
so
tiếc khi
excited
nghe
to
điều
tell
đó.
you that you just
Nhưng
won
tôi vô cùng vui mừng được thông báo với bạn rằng
350,000
bạn vừa giành được 350.000 baht từ ông Chatri City
ครับ
Otong.
ก่อนอื่นนะครับเราอยากจะขอแสดงความเสียใจกับตัวเป็นต่อด้วยในเรื่องของคุณยายของเราที่เสียไปนะครับและเราก็รู้ว่าชัยชนะการเก็บชัยชนะ7 ครั้งติดต่อกันเนี่ยมันสำคัญมากขนาดไหนแล้วเราอยากให้คุณยายเราก็ตอนนี้ได้โบนัสจากบอสชาตรี350,000 บาทครับ
ดีใจมากครับผมจะบอกอยากจะบอกคุณยายว่าผมทำได้แล้วครับแล้วขอบคุณป๋าชุนขอบคุณแม่แดงแล้วขอบคุณลูกพี่แปรแล้วก็ขอบคุณลูกพี่อุ๋งโมบายนะครับผมครับ
I really want to tell my grandma that I
Tôi
did
thực
it
sự muốn nói với
now.
bà
I
của
want to
mình
thank
rằng
to all my
cháu đã
sponsors,
làm
my
được rồi.
coach, my gym.
Tôi muốn gửi lời cảm
Well, I
ơn tới tất
know
cả
that
các
she
nhà
got
tài
to
trợ,
see you
huấn luyện
fight
viên
on One
và phòng tập
Friday
của mình.
Fights, and I know it probably means the
Vâng,
world to her.
tôi biết
I
rằng
am
bà đã
so
được xem
happy
bạn
to
thi đấu tại
announce
One
that.
Friday
Please
Fights
make
và tôi
some
biết điều đó
noise
có lẽ mang ý
for
nghĩa
your
cả thế giới đối với
winner.
bà. Và tôi vô cùng hạnh phúc khi thông báo rằng hãy tạo ra một số tiếng ồn cho người chiến thắng của các bạn, Pentor.
Pentor getting the job done in impressive fashion, taking the kick upstairs. You can see here Otis Waghorn going for the spinning elbow, leaving himself open. Pentor executing the high kick perfectly, landing on the neck of Otis Waghorn, sending him to the canvas. Wow!
Chuyển động cùng Võ Việt.